Imagine being thrown into freezing water the moment you're born, with absolutely no protection from the cold. That's exactly what happens to every orca calf. And somehow they don't just survive. They become the ocean's most intelligent predators. What you're about to discover will completely change how you see these incredible creatures. Right now, you're cozy and warm inside your mother's womb. But in just moments, everything's about to change dramatically. The water outside is absolutely freezing. And here's the terrifying part. You have practically zero blubber to protect you. Your skin has this weird orange tint because your blood vessels are so close to the surface, desperately trying to keep you warm. At 8.5 feet long and weighing 140 kilograms, you're basically a tiny fraction of your mother's massive size. But here's where things get really interesting. You're not just being born into a family. You're entering one of nature's most complex societies. That massive male swimming nearby? That's your uncle. And he's already trying to show you who's boss in the family hierarchy. But here's what's absolutely fascinating. Even though he's way bigger than your mom, she still outranks him completely. The real ruler, that's your grandmother, the matriarch who leads this entire group with decades of ocean wisdom. This family unit is called a matriline. And here's the mind-blowing part. You'll stay with them every single day for your entire life. No exceptions. But first, you need to figure out how to breathe. And it's way more complicated than you'd think. Following your mom's lead as you approach the surface, you start to exhale underwater, then quickly expose your blowhole and inhale before sealing it shut with a powerful muscular flap. Your exhales are so incredibly forceful that they launch water high into the air, creating that iconic mist effect everyone recognizes. Within days, something amazing happens. You discover you can move air between the nasal sacs in your blowhole, making the soft tissues vibrate to produce sounds. At first, you sound nothing like your family, just high-pitched squeals that probably embarrass everyone. Yet this is your first step toward mastering one of nature's most sophisticated communication systems. Your family uses an intricate language of pulses, whistles, pops, and calls that would put most human languages to shame. While you're busy learning to talk, the adults have to split up for hunting expeditions. It's too dangerous to leave you alone, so your mom stays behind. But she's not worried. The family always brings her back a share of whatever they catch. But here's something that'll blow your mind. Neither you nor your mom have slept since the day you were born. After an entire month without sleep, you're both completely exhausted. But your lack of blubber means staying active is literally a matter of life and survival. When you finally do get to rest, only half your brain can sleep at a time. You keep the other half awake to maintain visual and auditory awareness. Plus, you need to remember to surface and breathe. It's like being the world's most tired security guard who can never fully clock out. But this is just temporary. Things are about to get much more exciting. By your first birthday, you've grown 25% larger and packed on 350 kilograms of life-saving blubber. This fatty layer isn't just for warmth. It stores energy for lean times and finally allows you to sleep like a normal adult without freezing to your demise. Your communication skills have advanced dramatically, and you've mastered most of your family's calls. But talking is just the beginning. Now comes the really challenging part. Today's the day your mom decides you're ready to learn how to hunt for yourself, though she'll still act as your safety net if things go wrong. The family group has expanded quite a bit recently, and you notice some unfamiliar faces swimming alongside your usual crew. When they talk, you can understand most of what they're saying, but not everything. It's like they have a different accent. Your mom explains that multiple matrilines have joined together to form what's called a pod. These families likely share a common maternal ancestor, so you stay in fairly close contact, even if you don't chat for months at a time. By age 2, you've grown another 20% and are now fully weaned, officially making you a juvenile orca. Finally, you can explore the ocean without your mom controlling every single movement you make. Swimming playfully with dolphins as you approach the shores of Alaska and British Columbia, you're about to experience one of your family's absolute favorite activities. You release some air to sink down to the shallow seabed, then swim along, massaging your bodies against the pebbly surface. This feels absolutely incredible. Plus, it strengthens family bonds and helps remove old skin as your outer layer constantly renews itself, keeping you super smooth for maximum swimming efficiency. Which brings us to the day's next activity, something that requires serious teamwork. A seal enters the water and immediately regrets its decision, but there's no turning back now. What follows looks like a high-speed chase, but really, your family is just expertly guiding the seal exactly where you want it. Soon, the terrified animal is exhausted, scared, and completely cornered with nowhere to escape. The matriarch takes the lead and delivers a stunning blow. Then you're encouraged to expose your 2 to 3 inch teeth. But here's the plot twist that'll surprise you. You never actually intended to eat the seal. This was just family bonding time because your diet is incredibly specific. You're almost entirely fish eaters, with Chinook salmon making up over 90% of what you consume. When actual hunting time arrives, your prey tries to lose you in murky water. But they have no idea what they're dealing with. You produce rapid trains of directional clicks, each lasting less than a millisecond, passing through a specialized organ in your forehead that focuses them into a precise beam. These sound waves bounce off objects and return to fat-filled cavities in your lower jaw, creating the most advanced biological sonar system on the planet. This echolocation ability lets you judge size, shape, speed, and distance with incredible accuracy, basically giving you superpowers in the underwater world. Once you've locked onto your target, your white belly blends perfectly with sunlight from above, while the rest of your family disappears into the darkness below. Your teeth aren't designed for chewing, so with a 13th strike, you rip your prey apart and swallow it whole. You'll need about 10 fish each before the day's hunting is complete. Sometimes other pods join your group temporarily, and these encounters reveal something remarkable about Orca society. These visiting matrilines speak dialects so different from yours that communication becomes nearly impossible. It's like meeting people from a completely foreign country. Yet you still manage to play together, shooting toward the surface before launching into the air and landing with spectacular splashes. Adults join in too, flapping fins and tails around, possibly to communicate, or maybe just for pure enjoyment. This splashing also helps dislodge pesky parasites trying to cling to your skin. As the years pass, you perfect your hunting techniques and learn to navigate increasingly challenging situations. When prey dives deep, you slow your heart rate and redirect blood flow to your brain, heart, and lungs, where oxygen is most critical. Sometimes human boats interfere with your echolocation, creating confusing acoustic shadows that make hunting nearly impossible. Occasionally, researchers attach tracking devices that you can't remove with your flipper hands, which contain 5 skeletal digits but are optimized for steering rather than grasping. Around age 10, you reach full adulthood as a female orca. You now measure 18-19 feet in length, sport 3 inches of protective blubber, and weigh an impressive 3,500 kilograms. Your uncle is even more massive at over 20 feet and 5,000 kilos, with nearly 6-foot-long flippers and a towering dorsal fin. As you hit maturity, pods from your wider clan start mingling, and the mating process begins. Males aren't ready to breed until around 15, and younger ones often get bullied away by older, larger competitors. After successful mating, something fascinating happens. The male returns to live with his own mother and helps raise other calves that aren't even his offspring. Meanwhile, you're left to carry and raise the next generation with support from the males in your own matriline. Your pregnancy lasts an incredible 17 months, one of the longest gestation periods in the animal kingdom. But here's where your story could take a devastating turn. Imagine celebrating your upcoming new arrival with a family outing, only to suddenly feel weak and disoriented. Everything becomes blurry, and you can barely move as your family watches helplessly. Before you know it, you're stranded on a beach, your skin drying out while your massive body gets crushed under its own weight. This might be the end. You'll never get to become a mother. Then something unexpected happens. Strange creatures appear and seem to be helping, lifting the crushing weight off your body. You're transported through the air in what feels like the world's longest breach, until finally, blessed water surrounds you again. These rescuers, humans, have saved your life, and you couldn't be more grateful. They even treat some injuries you didn't know you had, and suddenly you're feeling much better than you have in days. But when you're released back into the ocean, nothing looks familiar. These helpful creatures have accidentally dropped you in completely the wrong location, thousands of miles from your family. Now you're lost in the middle of nowhere with a baby on the way, surrounded by orcas who look and sound completely different from anyone you've ever met. Their dialect is so foreign that you can't understand a single sound they make. Not even basic body language makes sense. What you've discovered is that there are multiple ecotypes of orcas, each with their own culture, language, and lifestyle. When you try to swim playfully with some dolphins, these local orcas become stressed and exhausted, fleeing at high speed. Around here, dolphin interaction clearly means something very different, and you've accidentally violated some major social rule. Hungry and confused, you attempt to catch some unfamiliar fish, but your hunting techniques don't work on these species. Luckily, some local orcas show up and demonstrate their methods, herding fish into tight balls against the surface before attacking with worn-down teeth. You realize these orcas eat very different prey than your family, which explains their modified dental equipment. When you try to relax by floating on your back, a completely normal behavior for your ecotype, the locals stare at you like you're absolutely insane. Nothing you do fits their cultural norms, so you decide to move on and hope to find more familiar territory. To conserve energy for the long journey ahead, you decide to catch a ride by wave surfing behind human boats, which can nearly double your speed for the same energy expenditure. Your travels take you to increasingly strange encounters with different orca populations. Some hunt massive great white sharks, tearing out and eating only the livers before abandoning the rest. Others specialize in hunting whales, working in coordinated groups to exhaust, attack, and drown creatures much larger than themselves. These whale-hunting orcas are enormous themselves, and they seem to mock your smaller size, not understanding that different ecotypes have evolved for different prey and environments. As you journey through colder waters, your skin begins changing color, developing a yellowish tint from algae buildup as your skin regeneration slows in the frigid temperatures. You encounter more specialized populations, some that hunt seals by deliberately stranding themselves on ice floes, others that follow fishing boats to steal catches of valuable fish species. After an incredible 17-month journey around the globe, coincidentally the exact length of your gestation period, you finally hear something that makes your heart leap. Familiar sounds, your family's dialect, coming from the rocky shores where you used to play as a juvenile. You've become the first orca ever documented to swim completely around the world, and you've brought the next generation back home with you. The reunion is everything you dreamed of, and you spend the following years catching up on lost time, enjoying your traditional foods, and raising your calf with the support of your matriline. Everything seems perfect until tragedy strikes. Your grandmother, the matriarch who held your family together with her wisdom and leadership, passes away. Even as an adult with children of your own, you feel completely lost without her guidance. Fortunately, your mother has accumulated enough knowledge to keep the matriline functioning, though the transition period is incredibly difficult, especially for the youngest family members. Decades pass, and you've established yourself as an experienced mother and teacher. You've had 5 calves total, the ones that survived, and you'll never have any more. You're one of the very few animals that experience menopause, and there's a fascinating reason for this. While most animals would be considered past their useful life at this point, you have decades of crucial knowledge that must be passed down to ensure your family survive. Your mother is now pushing 90 years old and nearing the end of her remarkable life, while your uncle passed away years ago. As you prepare to eventually become the new matriarch, you remember something incredible you witnessed during your global journey. a hunting technique from a distant population that could benefit your family. It's risky to try something so different, but leadership means making tough decisions and sharing valuable knowledge. Taking a deep breath, you prepare to teach your family this new skill, knowing that your role as keeper of wisdom and family survival depends on constantly learning and adapting. This is what makes orcas truly extraordinary. Not just their size or hunting abilities, but their complex societies, their capacity for learning, and then their dedication to family bonds that last an entire lifetime. What started as a vulnerable orange-tinted baby struggling to survive in freezing water has become one of the ocean's most intelligent and socially sophisticated predators. Your brain is the second largest on Earth. You've mastered communication systems that put human languages to shame, and you've maintained family relationships more complex than most human societies. You've traveled the globe, learned from different cultures, survived impossible odds, and now carry the responsibility of guiding the next generation. The next time you see an orca breaching in the distance, remember, you're not just watching a whale. You're witnessing a creature with a lifetime of stories, a master of underwater acoustics, a member of a sophisticated society, and quite possibly the ocean's most remarkable family member. That's a wrap on today's wild journey. But here at the Zoo-phoria Show, we're just getting started exploring nature's most incredible stories. Subscribe if you want to keep discovering the shocking, hilarious, and downright unbelievable truths about the animals sharing our planet. Your next favorite animal fact is just one click away.